we're there.
You said we were coming on at 7. It's now 20 past.
I know. We've been waiting for people, David. So I do apologise.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay. So we are. So we're going to do some coins. We're going to look at plants. We're going to look at Burns' work, Hillport. And I would like to mention that Drina has had an accident.
Oh no!
Oh, is she all right?
Another one.
She fell over, and I'm going to say it anyway. She fell over, and she looks like a panda.
Oh, bless her.
Yes,
We
I
like
went to
pandas.
see her, and she had knocked her face about a bit. Really,
Oh,
I was amazed that a knock on the head made the eyes go.
yeah. It depends where you hit it. Yeah.
She didn't say which type of panda, though. She didn't say which type of panda. So
yeah, well, a red-eyed panda.
So
she didn't want to be seen out. I mean, I can believe it.
So I will give you all regard. She's okay, but she was a bit embarrassed coming on. So I have got to mention as well that Anne has got somebody new who's going to be joining us.
Ooh.
Right next week. Linda St. Clair. No, I don't know what her name is, but
her name's
apparently
Janice. Janice, the name is.
Oh,
Janice Joplin. So that's good. So Janice is going to be joining us, which is going to be absolutely fab. A new person, because we haven't had anybody new in a while. So that's going to be really good. And I would like to mention, somebody said something about the library earlier on, right? And putting shelves up for the library. Michelle said to me a couple of days ago, she said, right, we got to go up to Cumbria, right? And we've got to get those books on the shelves in Barry so we can start using them. So I don't know when that's going to be. But however, it's not going to be for about 6 months. So you get her in to do that, and then when all the books are gone, you can put knickknacks on the shelves.
Well, no, I might be moving. This is why I'm getting a little bit.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I could be moving, so they'll have to go at some point.
Okay. Well,
it's Claire that's talking about putting the shelves up. So you'd have to get them from Claire.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You'd love.
Hang on a minute. How would I get Claire? How would I get the book off Claire?
They'll be in a basement.
No, I'm not going down there. Right, and I gotta thank David for getting his membership renewal over as well. So thank you for that, David. Anyone who's got that letter to renew their memberships, get that over as well. So I want to get on with this now. Anne, anything you want to say?
No, thank you.
Right, Andy.
Nope, thanks.
Margaret.
No, nout.
David.
No.
Jim Bob. Roger.
No.
Something that perhaps I was reading a book which about the sort of history of archaeology, and something that should have been obvious to me wasn't, but until I read the book, was that prehistory wasn't even imagined until quite late on, and this was because the church had said how old, when God had made the world, and there was nothing before that, and I thought that was a really interesting, and how that doesn't come to mind, and yet it's obvious. I thought that was quite an interesting fact.
Yeah, when we were doing the you remember we did the barrow diggers, and it was lots of those barrow diggers from the late 1700s were thinking, we've got to challenge this. There's something not quite right about the learned thought, and it was only until about the 1860s where people were really starting to challenge the Christian narrative. And then you got the idea of prehistory coming in. And when you think about it, if I can get my dates right, the Earth was founded, I think 404 years BC, right? Yeah. That's how far the planet goes back, and that was down to that was down to a Bishop Ussher from Ireland, who actually set in the 1600s how old the Earth was.
Yeah.
So you can blame the Irish and the Catholics.
Yes, I'd known about that a long time, and I hadn't thought of this. And I wondered, and I presume there would have been a lot of backlash, as there was when Copernicus said the earth went round the sun instead of the other way around. Whether, you know, when people have got an idea, there might have been a huge backlash against the idea that there was prehistory until some evidence could be shown, I would think. But anyway, I thought the whole thing was the book was very interesting, but that part I thought was quite a conundrum.
Yeah, exactly. Well, good. I'm glad you're doing other reading, and these classes get to other people as well. Somebody in this group, who I'm not going to mention, takes notes, and she reads them to somebody else, and that person is very appreciative of the efforts that I and everybody else put into these classes. So that's good. So Judith, anything you want to say, love?
No, nothing, thank you.
Oh, that was quite rapid.
I know, sorry, only about Chepstow, but that's just by the by. It's not news or anything.
Why were you asking about Chepstow then?
Because I need to book my accommodation before it all goes.
Well, good idea.
You know, for your live show.
For the live show, good idea, good idea. If you book.
There was something actually.
Go on, quickly.
I read that they're building a replica of the Sutton Hoo ship, and they're going to sail it across the channel. Yeah,
that's absolutely brilliant. Well, we want to be kept up to date with that.
Yeah.
David and Andy are very much into their boats, and I'm sure some of the rest of you are as well. So yeah, keep up to date.
Yeah. Oh, they're going to take it up the Thames as far as Tower Bridge, but no further. No further, because they don't fancy taking it through the London bridges. It'll get out of control. But that'll be an interesting sight, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, that would be. So keep us up to date. Yeah. I don't know what Andy's eating, but it looks like a stew. Right, okay.
It's a bolognese sausage, spaghetti bolognese.
But I do appreciate everybody's efforts tonight to get you for 7. It's just I think we're getting used to it, and on a Wednesday it's becoming very precarious. We're still, nobody's turned up still by about 10 past. So so you guys have made an effort, so it's good. Now we know the time. Let's just try, and obviously next week as well, with our new person joining. So I thought this week, when we had done coins in the past, and we'd done a few displays of coins, I think we were getting to the point that we could recognize the designs on these coins, and we could sort of try and think of these coins as something that was quite enigmatic of the British Iron Age experience. And when I say they're very enigmatic of the British Iron Age experience, you get the same symbols on these coins repeated over and over and over again. And let's remind us the horse. You've got barleycorn. You've got, for example, oh, hang on, not an envelope. You've got, for example, a wheel. Okay, and you've got various metals being used: silver, gold, bronze, and the regions that are producing these coins are on the eastern side of Britain, and there's periphery coins as well. And what we mean by periphery coins, if we go to our little chart, which is a map of these tribal peoples, so when we talk about these coins, and now we're really familiar with the designs on them, the main people creating these coins are the Atrebates. Remember Epilus, remember Verica, the Belgi, the Regnesis, the Cantiaci, Trinovantes, Catavilani, Iceni, and then the periphery people of Drutriges, Jibuni, Corotalavi people, and pushing a little bit up towards the people of the Brigantes. And the people who are not producing coins are the people that naturally have got the materials to make these coins, like the Scots, like the Welsh, like the Irish, like the people in Cornwall, but again, that's a little bit of a queer enigma, isn't it? And I'm sure we'll all agree. And going back to this, we know that there's gold in East Anglia because they obviously made coins using their gold, which is absolute nonsense, isn't it, Andy? But this is one of those things. And I remember when we were talking, when we were doing a little bit of a rehearsal for the live show, the other night, me and Simone and Azalea, it was like, well, I think the main point we got to put across is the gold cape is not made using Welsh gold, even though it was found in Wales. Very good point. It's the same with these coins. Now, this is a coin, and this is a periphery coin from the Dubuni people, which are actually where modern day Gloucester is today. And get some of these names. The Duratriges are the people of Dorset. And I can't say Dorset properly without saying it like that. And the Duratriges, Dorchester, and you've got the likes of Maiden Castle nearby. That's the Duratriges. The Atrabatos, you're talking about like Wiltshire Way, Jabuni, you're talking about Gloucester Way. Corotarvai people, you're talking about going up to Lincoln. And these people are producing their own coins. But when you start to think about these people producing their own coins, the coins themselves that they're actually producing seem to be the same designs across the country. Jabuni, for example, Gloucester Way, the horse again, Strident, and we're looking at another Jabuni coin. Both coins that we've seen are actually gold coins, and this in a way is an inverted stamp. Rather than a relief stamp. So this is being dyed into it rather than creating a relief design like this. So very interesting. And you are reminded that on the reverse, it's flat, or it's there's no design on it, right? So this is really, really important. All these really interesting things that we move through. And some of these designs you may have seen before, because I think what we did, one of the presentations, I just rushed a few images and I just thought I can't do this. It's just going too fast. But again, what we've got, this is very interesting. This has got the name of Bodvok on it, right? And Roger will know that there's a stone in Wales with the inscription of Bodvok on it. Is it the same person? But this is issued by the Jabuni people, right? Again, with the name Bodvok. Now, the name itself stands strident. Obviously, you can't see the B on there, but it stands strident. It's actually quite a nice design of the coin. And again, thinking about a nice design of the coin, this is not held out in Anglo-Saxon issues, and this is not held out in medieval issues. Lots of these coins themselves that we produce in Iron Age Britain are quite reminiscent of people that were good at doing something, and they were good at definitely producing coins. So when you think about this, again, you're looking at the coin, on the Jabuni coin from Gloucester Way. Again, you're looking at the horse, you're looking at the circles, you're thinking again that these seem to repeat across the world of Iron Age Britain, or as you go from Kent, move across westerly to Gloucester, move across westerly to the likes of Dorchester and Dorset, and then you move a little bit north up to Lincoln Way as well. So all of this, the significant nature of this world that we're looking at is people trying to broadcast who they are on these coins, but it's the same who they are on these coins. Very interesting. And again, when we're talking about people wanting to be known in history and remembered in history, there he is, Bodvok. Now, if you, like I'm doing now, if you lean back in your seat, it's almost as if you've got an echo of an image, an echo of a leader there. Right. And how lifelike is that? You can see the nice chin poking up. Okay. You can see beautiful lips, a really nice strident nose, eyes. Right. It's almost as if this is reminiscent of Roman issues, but it's very clear. would it be so good to actually see a coin of this design, which is clearer than this? It's really broadcasting. Obviously, you've got a horse as well, and the next one you could say is also a design of Bodvok, but it's very different. It's very, very different. And almost as if, can you see the exciting nature there? Look at that creature there. What is that mythical creature there? It's almost as if it's like, I don't know, it's some kind of hen, some kind of a bird with a beautiful stock of feathers there. It's something else, or it could be anything really. But look at that there. It's almost as if you're going into total fantasy there on the right hand side. Now, again, the design of Bodvok, and you're thinking, this is looking in a different direction. You know, it's really, really interesting, right? That you've got this sense, right? But some argue that this is not the design of Bodvok. This might actually be the design of somebody known as Corio, which might indicate that the design is different. So if this isn't Bodvok, it's somebody by the name of Corio. Really interesting names. Bodvok, Corio, Bodvok, Bodvoc. If this is not Bodvok and this is Corio, Corio. And the dates that we're talking about are the years before the birth of Jesus Christ. But we're not going massively before that. We're not going into we're going to 50, 40, 30, 20 years BC and all the rest of it. Now, what I think is rather interesting is this. Now, the horse design there, and if you think that maybe on the left hand side that is the image of a head, you can look at that and maybe you can see the pointy nose there. Maybe that's a head. Again, if this is a design of Bodvok, again, you've got Bodvok creating two different designs, the one at the top, one at the bottom. If what the design in the middle is of Bodvok as well, you've got three different designs rather than the other leader within the Jabunic territory of Gloucester, of Corio. Now, again, lots of these coins are silver. Now, it's very interesting. Lots of these designs are silver. Naturally, when you go back, that's gold. These are silver designs, and what we've got is more silver units. Again, silver units rather than stater. That is a stater because it's gold. These are silver units, right? And again, you can clearly see there that the silver units perhaps produced between the territory of the Jabuni and the Atrebati people, which there's a little bit of a skip and a jump to get to the Atrebates, but they're definitely there. The Atrebates in regards to Caliva, Atrebatum, Silchester, Reading, and all the rest of it. And again, the coin on the right bears winged motifs on its reverse, and maybe if is it that what it's saying, right? The one thing about these coins is, again, you've got the idea of the head on the one side, on the left, on both of these examples, and on the right hand side you've got the example of the horse, and both of them have got the wheels. Now, what we've got here, we've got another coin. Go to Savernake Forest. Savernake Forest, anyone's ever been to Savernake Forest? Again, you're talking about that beautiful. Roger's been to Savernake Forest with me, and this is a coin from Savernake Forest, the Savernake base gold stater, right? Again, this is crying out as again, we've got this. We want to tell people we've got this representation, and then we've got a combined on this one. Now, this is another one from the Jabunic territory. Now, it said the last two Jabunic rulers named on the gold coinage are Isv. And there's another one called Anted, Anted. So if you turn that there, if you if we edit that one and we put it the right way round, let's see if we can move this around, so we can read it. Let's go there. You can see that there. You can see EISV, right? So that's another leader for the Jabunic people. And the one thing that could be said and should be said is that these people are being remembered. They're broadcasting their names. They are there. They are there to be remembered. Now, you can see the wheat of corn on the left. You can see the horse. You can see the chariot wheel again. Chariot wheel, forget name chariot wheel, just wheel. And then you've got the name of somebody and the other leader of the Jabunic territory. So we're really what we are now. We're just going just before AD, just maybe after, just before AD 43. And what I've done, right? I'm on a flow a minute, so we'll come back to this in a moment. I set up all of that for us. And we'll go back to that stuff. So this is a coin of Anted. This is the last leader, one of basically the last leader of the Jabunic territory. And this is again a silver unit. So you've got TED there, right? And I think the translation is you've got the ANT at the bottom. So there you go. It seems to be read that way, ANT, and then it seems that maybe the T is repeated at the top, and there you go, Anted, right? So, but what we do have then is, I won't get rid of that. What we do have is that we got these really interesting coins, and then we go into a bit of a dream world, right? But you can, on the right hand side, you can clearly see the horse, right? But there's lots of pellets on this one. Again, this is a silver unit. This is a silver unit, if you want to call it a silver stater, but let's use the word stater to describe gold coins. But again, this is rather interesting. Again, where if you want me to describe the horse, right? If you describe the horse and you go with there, you've got the horse, two back legs, there, belly, neck, love it. And again, what we have is on the left-hand side, we've got the representation of a head, right? Again, it's quite interesting that you get these two different designs. It's like suddenly 1 minute you've got a coin. To start again. 1 minute you've got on a postage stamp as a metaphor, you've got the representation of the king, and the next time you've got a design which is quite surreal. Right, so they're basically produced at the same time, used at the same time. So that's the thing. Now, what we've next, what I don't want to do is forget that I got something to show you, right? So we need to go back now. Now it's saying here iron age. I wanted to give you an idea of weight, right, and scale, right? So we've mentioned this in the other things, but it's difficult to get this proportion, right? So iron age staters were gold coins that weighed between 4.5 to 6.5 grams, right? So I know my grams, I don't know my ounces. So there we go. Quarter staters, which were a quarter of the weight of staters, were also minted, right? So in other words, these coins started off a little bit bigger. So the quarter stater is the one at the top of the screen in the image, and the full staters are the larger ones. But the scale changes, the weights change. Basically, they like modern day currency. 1 minute the currency's gold, and the next minute it's silver, and then we don't have any gold or silver, and then it is base metals and so on. This is what we're getting into. Weight of Iron Age gold staters. The first imported gold stater, it had a diameter of 25 millimeters. Now, one thing I haven't actually done in my imagining today is to try and I'm going to get my little tape measure here, right? So basically, 227 millimeters is basically the equivalent of a modern day 10 pence piece, I think, and weighs 7.8 grams. By 75 BC in Britain, the weight of the average stater in Britain dropped to 6.45 grams, right? Final staters used all the way up to the age of AD 43. The final gold staters focus on the gold rather than silver. This is why it's really important that if you're going to refer to staters, refer to them as gold rather than silver. The British tribes reduced the weight of their coins until the last ones weighed only 5 5.4 grams. So there's a big difference there. And the size of these coins a lot smaller, right? Starting off as the size of a 10 pence piece, modern 10 pence piece, down to the size of a 1 pence piece, right? Now, some of these here, we've mentioned commius, we've mentioned Conobaline, a very famous one there, is basically talking about these later staters, right? You can see the dates there, right? And all the way down to Conobaline. And a gold stater, he produced a gold stater, which is 16 millimeters, right? And the 16 millimeters is actually the size of a modern 1 pence piece, but actually a little bit smaller, right? Now that's the coin of Conobaline. So this is a gold stater. Remember, gold up to AD 40 with a diameter of 16 millimeters and a weight of 5.3 grams or whatever. So before that, commius, the coins of, remember good old commius, and then of the Atrebates. So of the Atrebates, so a pale gold stater from around 50 years, 25 years BC, so well before Conobaline's coins, with a diameter, you can tell a difference. That's nearly 2 centimeters there, a little bit bigger than the 1 centimeter, and a weight of 5.4 grams. And this is a rather interesting one, the Anbiani gold stater, a Celtic horse stater. Again, what they're doing, even before you get to AD 40, the amount of gold in these coins is already reducing by about 50 years BC. So there's different people are fudging and moving around with the weights of these coins. Now, if we want to have scale, right, 16 is quite small, isn't it? 16 millimeters. If you can look on the ruler, you got 1, you count 6, 16 millimeters. And then I compared this with a modern day 1 pence piece. And actually, one thing that I said earlier on when we were talking about the 19 millimeters, it's slightly bigger than the modern 1 pence piece. It's not slightly under a modern pence piece. I want to say that. And obviously, when I'm saying, these coins are roughly the size of a 1 pence piece, they are actually quite smaller. To be honest with you. So I wanted to give you an idea of scale of a modern 1 pence piece. So there we go. The mass of a modern 1 pence piece, 3.56 grams, which is actually less than the weight of a gold stater, which is 5.4 grams. But these are smaller than actually the modern 1 pence piece, which is diameter of just over 20 millimeters. I wanted to put that in there to give you an idea of scale. So when I'm saying it, they're roughly about the size of a 1 pence piece. They're slightly smaller as they get through the ages, and this is what we're talking about. So again, so the staters are slightly smaller than this, and actually lots more in some cases as you get to AD 43. And back to this. So what we're going to do next is we're going to move on to another issue, the Juratrigi coins from the area of Dorchester and Maiden Castle, for example. These are cast bronze coins. So basically they're cast in a mold. And these are bronze cast coins. Very, very interesting, very important, that cast bronze coins of the Juratrigi people. And again, these that can you tell one thing? If you use a color image, then sometimes not as good as actually the image that you might actually see black and white. This is why I haven't got many color images, but that is bronze, right? So then Juratrigi people, again, now that's the furthest west. There's no coins that we're aware of that the Demoni people were actually producing from the likes of Cornwall. This is a silver Juratrigi coin. Obviously, these periphery people are seen to be using less gold. So let's just give you an idea. So over on the east, you've got towards the Cantai people, Kent, you've got loads of gold coins being produced. Iceni, loads of gold coins being produced. As it gets to Jabunite and Gloucester and the Juratrigi people of Dorchester, you get them using silver more than gold. That's very interesting. Again, that's very interesting because when you think of the Juratrigi people are really near Cornwall, right, and they've got access to gold, they've got access to much more gold than the people over on the east coast have, right? But these people, the Juratrigis, are not actually producing gold coins in mass numbers. unlike the Iceni, which is really, really strange, I think. And maybe something in my head is saying that maybe we really don't understand gold mining in the Iron Age. And maybe gold could be coming from somewhere else. It's just like one little thing I don't understand, right? Is everything that in the Iron Age is based on you've got let's just do it really basic. You've got 10 pots being produced at A, right? And then they're trading most of the pots with B as they get further away. And when you get to C, they're trading one pot, right? But with gold, the gold is being produced in A. None of the gold is going to B, but all the gold is being used in C, right? And there's something not quite right about that analogy. Maybe we're understanding gold in the Iron Age in the wrong way. That's what I'm starting to think, but I can't really put it to words yet. But again, what you've got this coin again. You've got a silver coin. It's basically, it's one-sided, really. It's quite basically they've dolloped a bit of gold into a mold. It's not come out well, and they've stamped it. And again, look at this. You've got this sort of that design. If you can remember, that design on the left is not based on a star or a starfish. If you can understand this a little bit better from what we've done before, not that there, you can clearly see a mane. And you can see the snout, and you've got the brush of the mane, right? It's a horse's head, right? Because we know that from other designs rather than a starfish. It looks like a starfish, but we know from other designs that it's not. And again, that's the silver representation of these coins. Now, if you want to know an idea of value for a coin like that, if you've got 150 quid, that's how much these things are going to cost you, right? Even some of these silver coins produced in the Iron Age are quite valuable, quite expensive, quite lucrative. And I don't advocate collecting coins and so on, but I used to collect coins, and I used to have quite a nice collection until somebody wanted to buy them off me, and I started to sell them all. But again, moving away from that, hang on, wait. Oh, we've gone. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now this is produced by the Korotavai people, which is by Lincoln, right? Which is closest north to the likes of you in Cumbria, but the Korotavai people. You can again, the horse is being used, and again, the horse is facing left instead of lots of the other designs where the horse is facing right. What does that mean? On each side, you've got the chariot wheel, right? And again, this is referred to as the kite design. But I think Drina would probably jump in here and say, Carl, that looks a bit more like a dragon than a horse. And I'm sure some of you might agree with that take. Now, I wanted to bring us back to base again to really understand where we are. And I've just realized that we're probably about a third way through my coins. So I've just got to try and make sure that we do my coins, we do David's bit, and we do Burns Walk Fort and Burnswick Fort in Scotland. And that's a rather interesting one. So again, reminder, the Korotavai people over there. There they are. And Dubunai, Duratrigi, those are periphery. And obviously the core, Iceni, Catavlani, Trinavantes, Atropates, Balgi, Rignensis, and Cantiaci. But if you've noticed something, the Parisei tribe, some people say that the Parisei people may have actually come from, yes, you've got it, Paris. And the Balgi people may have actually come from, yes, you've got it, Belgium. However, maybe in some ways take that with a pinch of salt. There is a Parisei tribe on the continent. There is a Balgi tribe on the continent. These are the same tribal people. It was just like a name that the Romans decided was able to fit. But in the case of the Trinavantes and Atropates, that's what they actually call themselves. So again, if we move, and I know I've shown you these before, And these are we had a little bit of a discussion about these and the Korotavai coins. And I mentioned this, and I said that similar coins like this have been found. I think it was the ones that would been found. 15 of them have been found in a hoard in North Wales since. So again, we've got silver units. We've got the use of silver, and over to the next coin, which is quite a weird design. That is a very weird design. If you Arnold Schwarzenegger, the pecs there, eat your heart out on the left-hand side. But look at that glorious mane of that horse, and you can see the detail that they've actually put into that horse. And I think it's very, very important what we're seeing. Now, the lettering on there is AVN. AVN for the Korotavai people. Now, is that a name? It is probably likely to be a name. Again, silver, lots of silver coins being produced in Lincolnshire. Again, periphery people producing silver coins. Maybe there was some kind of a rule. The Jabunai, the Korotavai people, and the Jutrigis are not really supposed to use gold on their coins. But who's actually telling them this, right? But again, what we've got is what we're seeing on the coins. Again, the horse is dominate, right? So we've got the corns of maybe barley on the left hand side, and we've got some other interesting designs on the bottom left hand side. But both of these are actually showing horses. Horse on the one at the bottom facing left, and the horse on the one at the top facing right, with the lettering VEP. And note that the way they've actually done the lettering, it's almost as if join the dots, VEP, and there's also lettering, which would be down at the bottom, which would be COF apparently, CORF. So VEP, CORF. Again, associated with an inscribed name, associated with the leaders of Lincolnshire. Again, and as we look at these, and as we move on to even more enigmatic, strident, unbelievable designs, which we're going to actually go on to now, right now, what you're seeing here, and it's really starting to come to us, and we're starting to look at these issues. And these are actually, again, these are silver units. Again, Korotavai people, these are silver units, beautiful silver units. We've got examples of Korotavai people actually using some gold with their coins, which we're going to come on to in a moment. But these wonderful silver units, they're really descriptive. For example, this is a coin of somebody by the name of Volisos. Sounds very Greek, doesn't it? And on the other side there, that would say Cartevel. And then, interestingly enough, that's a silver issue. But as I said, they did issue the odd gold, because that one is actually gold. And again, the horse design on the right facing left, but the horse on the silver one is facing right. Right. Is this to do with the modern day and age? You know that you've got the queen looking one way and the king looking another way, and previously kings and queens looked different ways, opposing to whatever reign. And again, something that I've said, that the very sense of relevance, and we've got some really interesting ones coming up as well. The real relevance of looking at what we're seeing on these coins in modern day issues, i.e., the repeating of the designs. For example, we used to have the design of Britannia on the backs of our coins, didn't we? Right? We've had writing on them. We've had the likes. When you look at these coins, there's a rim around this one. You can see a rim, right? All these things are in modern day coins. Yeah, but look at this. Now, this is actually a gold stater. This is known as the Freckenham gold stater. And again, this is the likes of the Oh God, I really struggle with this tribal name. The Karatavi people, and again, gold. This is a gold coin, and you're looking at this and you're thinking, there's something really, really modern about this coin. There's something, but something old at the same time. Yeah, and a prancing horse, you know. And what we then have is we have something very, very similar. And hang on, oop, let's go there. Uh, we got this as well. We've got these gold coins, more, and these are actually moving over from the Korotava people over towards the Iceni now. So with these are Iceni coins up in East Anglia there. So we got these really nice. The Iceni have got gold, loads of it. And again, you got the horse on the right. Are we looking at the image of somebody on the left? And I got to be honest with you, right? If you squint your eye, if you squint your eye and you look at that, it looks like some kind of goblin from the Lord of the Rings, screaming with a big open mouth there. Hang on a minute, with a big open mouth. You can see that there. That's what it looks like to me. There's probably not. It's probably more of a facial design there, but I think this is so amazing seeing this. And that there, believe it or not, that is a face looking out at you. You can see the lips, you can see the moustache, you can see the eyes. He's looking out at you, you know, he's looking for you, Drina, or Drina's not there, is she? Looking for you, Drina, he's looking for you, Margaret. Right. And again, silver design there. I think this is again really interesting. You've got the design of a coin looking at you, he's eyeing you, he's going into your soul. Yeah, definitely a bloke, a moustache. Maybe Iceni women had moustaches, I don't know, but this is definitely a bloke looking at you. Again, this is a silver coin. So as opposed to gold issues, and there we go, gold issues. I didn't show you this actually. These gold issues from the Iceni, again, that really nice horse, the you know, My Little Pony horse on the right there. And again, the prancing horse on the right of this wonderful silver unit of the Iceni. And the reason why I'm calling that Iceni, which is spelled Iceni, Iceni. So not the Iceni. Some people say this, the Sinai, pronounce the C as a K, Iceni. Some people would disagree, some people would agree. So, but now look at this. Now we've got, I'm leading to a very interesting odd coin, right? And the interesting odd coin is the one at the bottom there. So the one at the top, if we isolate that there, we can sit back and we can think, well, that's the design that you might sort of see in these Punch and Judy books. The design on the left, it looks like a Punch and Judy figure, but again, these are earlier silver designs, probably before about 50 years BC. But I'm looking at this and thinking there's a lot in this, and with like a feathery crown. Interesting enough, Roger was with me, I think. And Roger, can you remember we went into the museum at Colchester Castle, and you were with me, and we went upstairs and we saw these weird little crowns. Can you remember seeing them?
Not
Rog?
really, no. I can't think of the museum. I was going to say the one at Vindolanda stuff there, but I can't remember that one.
Yeah, there was these, Roger, there was these weird little crowns, these like these Roman crowns. It was quite strange, these sort of silvery bronze crowns, and they would have put feathers and stuff in them. And it's just like, right, that's what that reminds me of. And that would naturally be correct. You know, obviously they're replicating stuff in the Roman era based on stuff around them associated with the Iceni. Yeah.
And the headdress there looks a bit like an Indian chief from America, the Native American.
It's a bit of everything.
With headdress, as others haven't had anything on their head.
No, exactly. No, they haven't, Roger. And again, that's the basic learning curve of these coins. But then the next coin is too lifelike not to be lifelike. There it is. I gotta be honest with you. I'm not going to mess with that guy on the left. But it's almost as if he's a boxer design, right? That guy is jumping out at you on that coin, that silver unit. He's jumping out. He said, I'm not taking any messing, Rog, right? You don't mess
Yes,
with me
watch
in the
out.
pub, Rog.
Yeah.
He looks like a
It's
proper.
bruiser.
That's my words. He does look like a bruiser. He's got like a boxer's ear and like a puffy nose, a pounding puffy nose, and you've got the prancing horse. So again, I'm over and over again. Obviously, we've got this design where we've got the moustache, don't we? We've got the moustache there, but there's no facial hair really on any of these coins. And
No.
this is the thing, that they are shaven. They are shaven individuals, and obviously you've got that there. And again, one more look at that one, right?
Yeah.
Again, we've got to put Drina in tonight. Drina's ideal man.
Oh.
She's gonna love us.
Mm. She likes a
So, macho man, yeah. Village people, macho man. Oh, don't go there, Rog, please. Macho man. So, there we go. There that is as well. And then you've got an Ikeni design here, and what you have, it's almost as if this is different again. This is like Anglo-Saxon looking, right? If I had this poking up at me from the ground, I say Anglo-Saxon coin, not Iron Age, Anglo-Saxon. Then you turn it over, you got the horse design, right? Really disappointed. But I'm not disappointed at all. But what again? You've got, what I'm trying to say. You've got the ability to produce lifelike images like the one at the bottom. And then you've got ability to make pseudo lifelike cartoony designs of the one above. And then you just make something that's really out there, really sort of Picasso-ish, right? So with these three coins, you've seen lifelike at the bottom. You've sort of seen getting into sort of Monet-ish and sort of whatever, and then you get into Picasso. So all of this on these coins, right? And then interestingly enough, you've got on a coin a symbol, not this one, the next coin, the left hand. Oh, hang on, we've already done that. Hang on, where is it? Right, can we just do these in a moment? Because I'm just in a moment. That there on the left is a boar. Can you remember we mentioned that some of these tribal peoples, the Heart tribal peoples or Astrobades and so on, had a boar, right? On the Ikeni one, you've got a boar on the left and you've got a horse there. So in other words, you've got two important things to these people, the boar and the horse being portrayed on these coins. Again, this is telling us, what does the boar mean? Why doesn't anyone? But they've got both animals on these coins, right? Really, really important there. And then what we've got then? We've got this figure, right? Who's actually coming up again? I've got to remind myself. Hang on, I just got to remind myself in my notes that you've got another figure that we've mentioned earlier on. From another tribal people. Yes, we've got, right, Juritriges had somebody by the name of Anted, right, who was producing silver coins up in Gloucester, right? But there was also an Anted, Anted, in the Ikeni territory, which is actually there. So in other words, you've got two people known as Anted leading two different groupings of people, one by Gloucester, Anted, and there's another leader of the Ikeni who is also known as Anted, right? These are both producing coins with horses on, right? But whereas Anted on the coins associated with Jabunai people in Gloucester, his name is above and below. The name of Anted associated with the Ikeni, his name is actually below. So what we've done, we've missed out some color illustrations, right? And interesting enough, we're nearly at the end of the coins, finally. But before we do that, right, and then I think we might have a break. As you can see, I don't know if you agree with me, but maybe this is better for me to teach with. But then some of these silver issues, you actually do get the image quite in contrast. And that figure there, I don't know if any of you remember the Sean Connery film called Zardos, right? And there was this floating head, weird concept, right? This floating head that would go around the planet, sort of sorting people out, you know. That reminds me of the floating head of Zardos. And interesting enough, again, that coin as well, a coin associated with a keenite silver coin, really interesting, where you've got the horse prancing right ways, definitely a horse, very proud horse, and you've got that head. It's almost as if the head is on the edge of the coin, wanting to jump out at you. Come on, girls and boys, come and tackle me. And this is what these coins are telling you. We are the Iceni, nothing else. We produce these coins, but everyone produces a coin with a horse on. And again, looking at that, you've got the head on the right, very difficult to make out, horse on the right. But one thing you can agree on, all of you, that usually when a horse is used, it's clear. When a head is used, it's either as clear as day or it's not really clear at all. You can always work out the horse mainly, right? So we are now into the world of Anted again for the Iceni, and Anted for the Iceni people is producing more of these silver units, and they are very regal looking. You know, that design at the bottom looks very sort of regally, sort of interesting, and that's associated with another leader known as Aken, A-C-E-N, Aken of the Iceni. That's good. I'm Aken of the Iceni, producing that coin at the bottom. Again, an inverted horse on the right and a relief image on the left. Interesting, the way they're making these dies, right? And if we want to look there, right, you've got the beautiful design there of the Iceni, again, similar to the previous design, slightly different die. It's another die. So what they're doing, they're making coins. These are all the same issue, but they're 4 different dies, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know that this issue had at least 40,000 coins made for the issue, right? So at least be 10,000 coins for each sets of dies to make these. So somebody's well, you know, just try and make the coin to look a little bit like this, you know. Yeah, and the design on the reverse, you know, the obverse, and it's fine. We're there. Now, the word Aken, right, might not just be associated with the name of a person. Aken might actually be the name for the Iceni people rather than a person. E-C-E-N, Aken, Iceni. So you drop the I, and it's more or less the same word. So if Aken is actually a name of the tribe rather than the name of the person, right? That is quite significant. And they're saying, while it might seem likely that this should be a version of the tribal name, other instances in the Celtic world of the name of the tribe appearing on their coinage are extremely rare, and thus Aken may refer to an individual. Should we just leave that there? Maybe thinking it's too close to the name Iceni to not be the name Iceni, E-C-E-N, rather than E-C-E-N-I. So we can leave that there. But basically, as time is getting on, we lead to the name of somebody who will lead us into the Roman period proper in a few months' time, which is the name Prasutagus. Right now, Prasutagus was the husband of who?
Boudicca.
Boudica.
Yeah,
you are 100% right. When if you listen to recordings about with Sir Mortimer Wheeler, it's some people say it's Boudicca, and it's Boudica, right? And you are 100. I tell you what, if I was going to give you 10 out of 10, that's 10 out of 10 for that. So Prasutagus was the husband of Boudica, Boudicca or Boudicca, or Búthig in Siarad Cymraeg. And it's spelled different ways as well. But anyway, back to Prasutagus. That is the image of the leader that said to Rome, we will become the client kingdom of Rome. On my death, my wife, Boudica, will receive half of the kingdom and Rome will receive the other half. But it was not Roman tradition for women to be seen in the ascendancy. It was to be the women was to be seen in the descendancy of the Roman world. And obviously women, wonderful locks of red hair, well busted, short women with a great deal of power, were the Iron Age way. But in Rome, women were to be seen to be subservient, and the very rich women, in the Roman world, for example, used to hide their wealth, so they might go through the streets with their wealth hidden, where men would display their golden wealth. But that is in the Roman world. In the Iron Age world, the native European world, the Celtic world, or whatever you want to call it, women were very, very powerful. And actually, on that note, we have looked a great deal of coinage in Britain, and you can basically say that you've got an array of. Oh, there you go. You've got a boar there. Oh, hang on. You've got a boar at the bottom. You've got these boar coins. We haven't done many of those, so we boar coins there, and obviously coins with names on. You've got the rose gold. There's a copper in those ones. Nice bit of gold there, probably 90% gold there, and the designs of the horse. And that allows us to leave Iron Age coinage. But I'm sure there might be a coin old found somewhere, and we can think about that. So I'm thinking that there at 8:14, we've basically nearly done an hour. I think then that'll give us a nice little bit of a luxury to do the two other topics after the break. After I don't know, 10, maybe a 12-minute break, I'm gonna have something to eat. Andy wants to scoff his tart, right? And I just want to say something that I didn't say earlier on. Yeah, we none of us take for granted your support of these classes after all these years. And I would like to say that if we do come up to Cumbria, we will do a talk, and I will maybe bring some of the live show stuff with me. I'm not bringing a Mary Lloyd though. Yeah, I can't bring a Mary Lloyd all that far north, but maybe if David asked me nicely, I might. So it'd be great to see you all, but we're talking about quite a few months, and we've got a few things to do on the farm in the meantime. So we'll just see how that goes. Right. Okay then. And by then we'll have a new member, hopefully Anne's mate, and maybe if we could have another person joining these classes, we'll be back up to levels. Right. Anne, anything you want to say before we have our break?
No, I found it quite interesting. Quite so varied, all the coins, but interesting. So many animals were involved, especially horses. But yes, I thought they were really good. I've never really looked at coins before in that way. No, that was good. Thank you.
And that's based on the work of Philip de Jersey, the same archaeologist who worked on the. Where does Philip de Jersey work?
See?
Philip de Jersey, where does he work?
Jersey.
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 He's the
Basic
archaeologist
French.
from Jersey. Honestly, straight up, I can't make it up.
Sometimes in a t-shirt. Yeah.
Was he the one that found all those thousands of coins? Was that him?
He's. I think that was the same guy. He just gets around. If it's to do with Albany,
it's probably taken his entire life to go through all of them anyway.
Yeah, just a few thousand, you know. Yeah. How many did you guess last week, Andy? 6,000? Basically a naught and take away 5,000. You got it. Right, Andy. Anything from you?
I love the design of them because I love it. I mean, and I wondered with the ones with the plain backs whether they were legitimate issue or if there was such a thing as forgeries in those days, because that is a common forgery in modern ones, just having a similar having an image on one side, not today but in the past. And I also wondered I was again intrigued by the spread of the different metals in different areas. Interesting, like in East Anglia, there's a lot of gold coins, even though the gold doesn't come from there. And that I'm thinking, is that because it didn't come from there and they value those and therefore questioning the value of the coins? Like we have a currency based on 1 unit and 10 units and 20 units and 50 units and 100 units. I don't think that had a decimal valuation then. So I think they may mean other things, and therefore the metals may have meant other things as well. So
maybe it was a preference of the people that made them, which metal
maybe,
with.
But again, it's like, you should be seeing bucket loads of these coins. Andy's point is really good. If you bucket loads of these gold coins in the Durish Treaties, but you don't. And obviously Andy's point is if you've got loads of gold around, the Iceni people are going to use it, and you're not going to use it because you're going to use silver. Because and I think I made this point really early on, Andy. There's a big difference between a forgery and a copy.
Yeah.
Right. If my tribe is going to be copying your coins, that's okay. But a forgery is damn right forgery. It's a coin. It's a bronze coin which is just coated in silver. That's a forgery. There's a difference.
That one hoard of whatever 57,000, whatever it was, shows that there had to be lots of coins.
Yes.
Either that or they were all in Jersey. He's gone around the entire country, collected them all, and says, I'm going to bring the economy down. I'm going to bury all the money.
Offshore.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's quite ironic, isn't it? But I mean, that just there's so many there meant there must have been lots.
Yeah.
So.
Can I just look at a few points? Okay, the Groville hoard. The coin hoard from Jersey contained actually the figure. I actually it was more. I think they must have estimated this 70,000 coins, right?
Wow.
So now just hang on, think about that a minute. Just keep that there, roughly about 60 years BC, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to ask AI what the population of Jersey was in the Iron Age. Iron Age population. This is really random population. Andy, I would like to make some of Andy's point there. Right, okay. So the population of Europe, we're talking about 15 million people in the Iron Age, that whatever. Let's try and I typed in Iron Age population. I should have done Iron Age population on Jersey. Right, and it'd be then we've got an idea of the value of those coins. Right, do you want to know the estimated population on Jersey in the Iron Age?
3.
Well, okay then.
Can't be many.
Well, they're saying that the average community populations on Jersey were around 200 to 250 people, which is a little bit more than I would estimate usually. Right, and there were about 10 communities of them on Jersey. So there was a maximum of 4,000 people on Jersey. So therefore, quick mathematics, that's 70. Quick mathematics, Andy. Let's just dumb this down to roughly 3,500. Quick mathematics. That meant that those 70,000 coins represented 20 coins for every person on that island.
Can I offer a conspiratorial suggestion?
No, but go on.
Go on. Well,
go on.
The Nazis were in Jersey. Do you think they were collecting them and hoarded them there?
Well, obviously, this was a properly found coin hoard that was found in archaeological context. But however, we've got to think about. Right, that's a very interesting question. It's a question that actually never comes up in the literature because nobody dares to talk about it. That's a dark subject you're talking about. Nobody talks about the value of archaeology and what that value in archaeology meant to the war effort of whatever side in the Second World War. And you can imagine, for example, when you think about it, it's a really good point. Jersey, Alderney. Let's look at Alderney. Alderney was dug up massively. It became a quarantine military base. Right? You can't tell me for 1 minute that they didn't find any hoards, because they would have. None of these coins would have been declared. These hoards would be melted down and put back into the war effort. So that's not even calculated ever. I can give you one issue. I can give you one piece of evidence, one that's in my book, The Romans in South Wales. I've written about this a few times. In the Second World War, oh, and I've got some amazing news to tell you. Park that. Roger, mention listing in a minute. Park that. I've got some amazing news for you. But anyway, in the Second World War base that we've parked the issue that I'm going to mention in a moment, right? They found some lead coffins. Right, these American servicemen found these lead coffins on this military base whilst they were filling sandbags. And decades later, in the 1980s, about 1983, 1984, a young boy went over there, Karl-James, to see the archaeological excavations at a Roman cemetery. But this is the same location where they had found 2 coffins, which were solid lead, that were Roman sarcophagi inscribed with scallop shells. We've got the description. We know they were Roman. And basically, they were taken to the scrappies and melted down. Right? These are just lead coffins. Just a little example. So that lead was put back into the war effort. So the answer is there must have been tons of gold, silver, metals that were taken to be used in the war effort. For example, the Nemi boats, for example, from Lake Diana, there would have been tons of iron used in that. Where's all the iron today after it was set alight? I've got to mention this, on that military base that I've mentioned where these sarcophagi were found. We've actually just heard back from Cadw Welsh Historic Monuments that the work of Kate and myself and the Barry Archaeology Cymru was that we might be they've already provisionally protected and listed the only surviving Second World War 6th of June 1944 D-Day build-up gatehouses that was used to watch thousands of troops go onto those boats going over to Normandy for those 30 days. And it looks like we've secured that last final building of the military base, because everything else has been demolished.
Oh, well done.
Yeah,
And I
great.
will
Yeah.
I will tell you more about that. If it doesn't get scheduled, then if it doesn't get listed, but it's provisionally protected now, so nobody can touch it. So I guess who's got the replacement windows from the other building that they demolished about 4 years ago? We've got them in West Wales, so they can be fitted into this building because they lack 1 or 2 of these windows. Right, we've got to anyway. Sorry, thank you for that, Andy. We've got to crack on to our break in a minute. David, anything from you?
No, thank you.
Margaret.
I was just wondering if the images of horses and animals on the coins are actually people. I was reading, because I've got a book about ancient coins in your
library.
Yeah, and yes, and it's saying Cunobalin, was he called?
Cunobalin.
His name actually means strong dog. Did any of his coins have dogs on them?
Now that's a little bit of research you need to look in that book for there. And Cunobalin was also mentioned by William Shakespeare.
And also, I know she's later, but Cartimandua means strong pony.
Again,
right.
Cartimandua, the queen of the Briganti tribe up in the north. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it. She may have looked like a horse.
She was a pony, apparently.
A horse, pony, it's all the same. It's all the same trap.
These animals were people.
Maybe. Right, Roger Dodge.
Yeah, I was wondering that we're using what we call letters on the coins for the language, names and stuff. I wonder if they're all actually letters in the way we use them. Might seem an odd question, but there might be something symbolic we're missing. Not careful.
Well, they couldn't read or write, the everyday people, could they?
How dare you? We
Idea.
don't know. The thing
Perhaps
is,
if they didn't worry
Roger's
about
got a
that,
point.
They wanted Josiah the Mighty to do it, but was the use of these letters actually for the language as we use them, or names like Akinae. Romans might have taken it as that. In fact, it was something else. You know, who knows?
I see what you
Who
mean, like a
knows?
code, like a codex, like yeah, like a
I just-
message, which is yeah.
It's just a possibility because we're taking it as we see now. But as you know, with archaeology history, you've got to sometimes place yourself back where they were. Difficult, but totally without our knowledge and usage, and say, right, okay, forget all that. You've got something with some little circles that goes round. There's a straight line. Oh yeah, that's interesting. What we do, what do they do? Don't know.
Well, how did they
That's
see
the
it?
point. There
And
might be something hidden that we've overlooked. It's just a vague thing, but it's a point we've taken without really knowing. Like a lot of history.
now the one point that Roger made is to do with the native language of Cornwall and Cymru Wales and bits of it hanging on in Cumbria. But for example, I'll give you an example. The word Dewi, Dewi, in Wales could mean David, but it also means down here um, sacred space, but it could also mean gold. Right. So what Roger's saying, the name on the coin might not be, and it might mean more than a name. It might have another juncture of understanding. So, say for example, somebody might put on a text LOL. Now, some people think that means love, lots of love. Other people mean laugh out loud. Right. Other people might just see it and not know what it means. But I think that's what Roger's saying.
Yeah. Hidden meanings that we've
Hidden
lost.
meanings. Exactly.
Right.
Right. Okay. I want to break in a moment now. Judith, chuck it at us quickly.
Oh, sorry, no, that's everything. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Then we're going to be back at 8:40. So hurry up, guys. Get on with it. Catlon. Down to your pants. Whatever. Roger, sort yourself out.
I'm going. I'm on the way. I'm getting.
Good. Good. Da, 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 da.
Oh, I'll forget my busy.
Pardon? What?
I'll forget my busy.
Don't get your billing.
I'd bin.
I'm filling it up.
Mhm.
I'm fixing some other things.
Oh,
You didn't quite have time for me.
no.
You just set up most of the rest.
You get rid of everything. That's.
Sorry. He's a monster. He's a monster. Oh, we're all back, are we?
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
The big question, Andy, right? Do more people live on the Isle of Man or Jersey?
Ooh,
What now?
Yep.
Isle of Man.
Nope. 84,000 people live on the Isle of Man and 103,000 on Jersey.
Wow. Isle of Man's a lot bigger as well.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Is
quite a
it?
big. It's quite a big island,
What?
Isle of Man.
What big island? Yeah, it is. It is. It is.
Haven.
What?
Tax haven. Jersey.
What's paying?
So
A tax haven.
Oh,
it's a tax haven for rich people like you, Rod.
that's right. Well, you got to work it right.
The only reason Eleanor's with you, right, is because you're a sugar daddy.
Who? Who's that?
I can't remember. I get his name of his missus wrong. Right. Okay then. Right. Okay then. Right.
What's the thing? He's bad. Oh, daft. Yeah. What?
Who? What are you on about?
Talking to Jill about something.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. Right. Let's crack on. Right. Let's do the next bit. I can't remember what the next. I know what the next bit is, but are we doing Burns work for first, or are we doing the
No,
medical stuff?
stuff.
Let's have a little look. Roger, shut up.
Medical stuff.
Rog, shut up.
What? Oh.
Do you know? I don't know how this new person's going to be able to deal with me and Rog.
Oh, she'll be all right.
I did
Oh,
give
well.
her a bit of a warning.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, only a bit of
Yeah.
one.
There we go. We're going to be. This has been brought to me, right? Because and let's just show you the images where we're going. Look at that beautiful site. And what is that over on the right there? Yeah. And look, it's something else is coming, right? There's a Roman fort associated with it on both sides.
Oh,
Okay,
yes.
that's a Roman fort. Okay, so basically, there it is. Burns Walk. Is that near Lockerbie there? North of you can see
Dumfries.
Carlisle on there as well.
Yeah.
North of Gretna. I loafed with somebody to go to Gretna, but it didn't actually go the way we planned, so I never married her.
lucky
Right.
girl.
Oh, she's lucky. She escaped.
But you know what, right? I just didn't want your opinion, Jill, okay?
I just talked to Jill, you know, quietly.
Yeah, look. Jill's going to realise all the sordid secrets about you one day, Rog.
What she knows, I'm selfish and horrible and a
Yeah,
threat.
that's true. Roger, shut up. Burns Walk Hill, to the east of the A47M, between Ecclesfechan and Lockerbie. Oh, come on, let's say that again. Ecclesfechan.
Ecclesfechan.
And Lockerbie.
Yes, yeah,
in
Ecclefechan.
Dumfries. Ecclesfechan. Fechan.
Fechan.
Fechan. And Lockerbie in Dumfries and Galloway, Scotland, is a prominent flat-topped hill composed of basalt deposited some 301 million years ago on the 14th of August as a local flow of lava. Lava. On this hill have been found an Iron Age hill fort enclosing some 7 acres. Iron Age roundhouses within the fort, an earlier Bronze Age burial cairn, statue of Lloyd George, enclosures dated to the medieval period, a possible Civil War battery, right? Roger, not a battery as in what you'd put in a camera, you know, battery as in artillery battery. You got to tell Roger this. And an Ordnance Survey triangulation station. Immediately adjacent to the base of the hill are 2 Roman camps, nothing to do with Frankie Howard. North and south of the fort, and a possible Roman fortlet or pre-existing earthwork within the south camp. There you go. Excavations have found evidence that the fortifications had collapsed or had been deliberately felled. Hey boys, we're going to fell a palisade. Don't you mean fell a tree? No, fell a palisade. Before about AD 40, when the site was bombarded with Roman sling, bullets, arrows, and artillery missiles. And one of Saddam Hussein's scuds. While this was suggested to be evidence of Roman military training, it now seems likely that the missiles were left by a Roman assault. You know, look at that. You definitely got to be something you've got to assault there. Look at that. Amazing. And obviously you can see both camps, both Roman camps. There we go. One there. You can see the, hang on, let me get in there. Get that up there, right? You can see one set of earthworks there. That's one Roman camp, right? And there is the other Roman camp. And there we go. And they're saying that there was a little fortlet there where you can actually just see a square thing. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. Love it. And thanks to Margaret telling me all about this. She said to do it this week, Margaret. Didn't you, Margaret? Well done. No, it was
Judith.
It was Judith. That's the one.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Whenever we see anything like this, we've got to ask ourselves 2 questions, right? Was it a place that the Romans used as practice for training their soldiers, or was it part of a certain Quintus Lollius Urbicus's conquest of the Scottish lowlands in about AD 140? Now, there's also a link here with the Scottish kings, but we'll move on from that. Right. So we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the 2 jugs. Right. The first jug is, was it a possible training target? And the second jug, was it a military assault, a Roman victory? One contains wine, one doesn't. Or is it both? That's the thing, because it could both things have happened to the site. It's very interesting that there's 2 forts here. It gives me the idea of Masada, where Masada, the siege at Masada around the early AD 70, where the Romans besieged the Jewish garrison at Masada, and they surrounded it with forts and earthworks and various other things. Right. Anyway, it has been suggested that the evidence at Burns Walk does not suggest a siege designed to capture the hill fort, but rather the remains of a facility used to train soldiers in the use of slingshot and ballistae. The use of stone facings in the camps has been taken to suggest a more permanent structure, a longer term occupation than would be required to assault the hill forts. So in other words, what they're saying, the forts, both north and south of this, look very much more permanent, not as if they were a temporary thing, right? And the on the lower thing, that's not to spell out somebody's name, right? Dude, right? That's how they think that the camp was organized. But if it was more permanent, there would be proper barrack buildings. We don't know. Anyway, it says that the lead slingshot was thought incorrectly not to have been used at such a late date, but now we know it was. Other projectiles, stone balls, had been coloured red, possibly to help in their recovery for reuse. That's a good one. A fortlet in one of the Roman camps. That's the I think it's the hang on, there it is there. So if we look at there it is. I think it's there. There it is in the corner. Yeah. It's not a really good plan actually. Let's go with the other one. Hang on a minute. Not that one. There. You can basically see it in the top corner there. That's what they're talking about. They're saying that that a little fortlet, one of the Roman camps, appears to have been built before the camp, suggesting the Romans had previously controlled the area. Right. Arrowheads have been found on top of the ramparts and not beneath them, suggesting to their excavator that the ramparts had been made unusable before the siege, and that they were therefore not defended at the time of the bombardment. So in other words, what we're talking about, they used this as, you know, to assault it, you know, to as a practice work. And the other thing as well is I gotta check this in. Right, this is my four penneth. If you're going to build these two camps, right, north and south of here, right, and the people inside this sort of hill fort type thing, right, it would make it very difficult because you'd be constantly being, you know, things sort of projectiles falling down on you. Anyway, that's an idea. So here we go. This is the thing. On the other thing as well is, as you know, guys, when you do the Roman stuff with me, a reminder that I'm doing my daily Roman video. And by the way, I'll tell you this, right, because it's not fair to you guys. If you if you're not a subscriber to my channel on YouTube, right, and you go to my channel on YouTube, which is karl-james Langford, and you get my channel up to 3,000 subscribers, which is big wow, right? And you let me know, and if it's one of you guys, I'll be sending you some treats up in the post, okay? So there's something to join my channel. As Judith's already a member, right? You don't get these treats, Judith. She's not saying anything. Military assault.
What?
Oh, by the way, Judith, it'll be great to see you, right? I know you're the woman at the back who looks like a Fraggle. Military assault and Roman victory. However, one of the arguments above are definitive, and a military siege and assault is now accepted as very probable. But was it a military assault to attack somebody who's there, or was it a practice military assault? But if it was a real military assault because they were attacking people actually on the hill, this is where this goes. Hundreds of sling bullets made of lead have been found. These would have been unsuitable for training because they cannot be seen in flight, and they would have been more expensive than alternatives of stone or clay. So in other words, if you're going to use lead, you need to get it over and done with, and it's a proper siege. And you know, if you are using lead, you're not going to be able to recover from that type of thing. The fortlet has been reassessed as a pre-Roman earthwork, and the hill fort could have served as a defensible refuge, whether or not the old ramparts were intact. Now we don't really know what's going on, right? But let's talk a little bit about the if this was a battle situation. Let's do a little bit of Celtic sort of Iron Age battle situation, right? Let's just enjoy this little bit. Enjoy this little bit of a story. So here we go. This might be true. This might not be, but we've just discussed that. Warriors gathered at the ruined hill fort of Burnswork, which commanded the western route northwards into Caledonia. If they refortified the hill fort, this is not evidenced by modern archaeology, but it's worth a talk. Nevertheless, the Roman forces did not feel able to take the position by immediate storm. They set up camps either side of the fort, effectively isolating it, like they did with Vercingetorix in 54 BC at Elysee, north of Paris. But this is a lot later. So these two camps were substantially fortified for a siege, not intended for a few days' occupation only. They could have housed around, wait for it, 6,001 soldiers. And their enemy may have only numbered in the hundreds, if not 1,000, right? So in other words, they're attacking a location, and the Romans outnumber these people in the location, and simply they were just the people who lived in the local area. If that is the case, we're not saying it is, maybe it isn't. Whereas the defenders would have been armed with simple weapons, swords, spears, and shields, perhaps some missile weapons, and a very few might have had body armor. The Romans had good personal equipment, including mass slingers and archers. They had effective siege artillery, and they had military training and discipline. That's the Romans. A swath, I love that word, of hundreds of sling bullets has been found along the southeastern entrance. So there we go. Never eat shredded wheat. So you've got the you've got the entrance there. That one there. That's the entrance we're talking about, directly opposite the South Roman camp. Shut up, Rog. And it's basically saying where the main entrance to the fort was located, with a smaller swathe along the facing side of the southern camp, the Roman southern camp. So the Romans are just chucking from their camp. Job done. Possibly where the slingers stood to shoot, fumbling and losing a small proportion of their bullets in the process. Iron arrowheads and ballista balls have also been found on the southeastern side of the fort. And just outside the southern camp, there are three protective outworks, the three brethren, right? Yes, the sort of outworks of extra bits, the poke out, as you can see there. I think what they're talking about is oh, hang on. Oh, I've just stopped the share. Hang on a minute, get back. We don't want to be looking at me, you want to be looking at the plan. Right. There we go. I think the bits that stick out are actually these. Oh, hang on. These things there. I think that's what they're talking about. Anyway, so anyway,
I don't think they are. I think they're talking about on the Roman camp there, those little dots.
Oh,
they're
the
ballista platforms.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Andy, I read that wrong. Andy,
Yeah.
I do apologize.
That's okay.
Iron arrowheads and ballista balls have also been found on the southern eastern side of the fort and just outside the southern camp there. Oh, right. He is right. I misinterpreted that totally. Andy, I'm glad you corrected me there. Not that. Andy is completely correct. It's these things. Yeah. Those are the platforms for the ballista bolts. Sorry, I got my words wrong there. Those are the three brethren, about 3.5 meters high and 15 meters across. Thanks for that correction. With ditches partly dug into the bedrock. Wow. So they put a lot of effort into these things. These three are substantial defensive positions, larger than usual mounds, and they may have been places where ballistae were mounted. The ballista bolts, basically, these huge sort of machines, wooden machines, and it's a tension sprung, and you had big sort of wooden shafts with metal heads, and those are the ballista bolts that would fire forward to do a lot of damage. Sometimes having ropes on them, they would attach to the palisades, and you drag the palisades out, all sorts of things. This is compatible with a carefully prepared barrage of a variety of missiles, possibly intended to suppress enemy resistance, while Roman soldiers advance up the hill to melee combat. In that case, few defenders of the Burns work could have escaped death or enslavement. Finally, here we go, looking again. And it's basically saying that, it's basically saying, if we go to another image, which is in fact this one, right? It's I think where is it? There's a location on your there, Burns. Can you see? You actually you can see it there. There's Burns' work, and there is below it. If you look, there is a place known as Burns, right? And it says near the Antonine Roman fort of Blatu Bulgin, which is modern Birins. It's Antonine Fort. It's not the Antonine Wall. It's Antonine Fort, which is a big. The Antonine Wall is further north, but it's an Antonine Fort built in the reign of Antonius Pius. It says there's a find at this place known as Birins. That it says finds include one of the Britain's largest victory inscriptions dedicated to Antonius Pius, and an inscription recording detachments of 2 legions, the 12th Primogenia and the 8th Augusta, one from Mainz and one's from Strasbourg, and it's describing a great victory. And is this great victory the site that we're talking about at Burns Work, right? And this is only one of 20 inscriptions of a great victory to be found anywhere in the Roman Empire. It could be that maybe there was a great siege at Burns Work to defeat the local tribes. This was likely one of the many battles that took place during the Roman campaign, roughly from the 140s to 142, under the rule of Antonius Pius, who actually built the Antonine Wall. And a little bit more to sort of help us understand, just moving on. When we think about what's going on in the Roman Iron Age, and when we talk about the Roman Iron Age, we're talking about by the time the Romans are really moving beyond Hadrian's Wall, we're talking about AD 80, and then you're moving. Hadrian's Wall 120 and the Antonine Wall after the 140s. Right, there's a lot of activity with various different forts in the area, and they're dealing with a group of people known as the Selgovae tribe that occupied this area that we've just discussed at Burns Walk, and it's a constant landscape of conflict, high military activity, some practice activity, constructions of forts, roads, villas, aqueducts, all sorts of different things. But that is a lecture that we're going to have when we look at the Roman period.
Another day.
Now, hopefully I've done Burns Work justice, right? So before Foxglove. There we go. I just want to show you there's wonderful Burns Work from above. Those are what Andy was talking about there. Those are our 3 ballista platforms, the 3 brethren, 1, 2, 3, and there we go. There's the other fort as well. So you've got the 2 forts, and there they are in action. These 3 brethren. But the thing is, if they are ballista platforms, right, and they're firing uphill at quite a weird angle, we'll leave that one for another day. And there we go again, this beautiful aerial view. It's a bit of Roman and a bit of Iron Age at the same time. We all like a bit of that, and naturally when we start looking at these things like what was going on at Maiden Castle and Hod Hill in the Roman period, that will all come into play. Now it's 9:03. We're not finishing yet. What we will do, we'll do David's bit and then we'll call it a day, because if I don't do David's bit, I'm going to be in serious trouble. Right.
Carl?
Okay. So last week we left this, and
Carl?
yeah.
Just a quickie on the Burns Walk thing. They found some of the lead bullets. I'm not sure whether they were sling or ballista. In my mind, I'm thinking the ballista bullets as opposed to shafts. Had holes in them, so they screamed when they went up there to terrify people.
Yeah, I think we mentioned that before. Yeah, really? They whistled.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they would whistle.
One of the things that makes them think it was a siege rather than a training, because they wouldn't have wasted them on that.
They were completely sandwiched in there, weren't they? I wonder how long they could stay up in the hill fort without leaving.
And I would, to be honest with you, I'm gonna look at this from a perspective of knowledge, right? So if we let's look at say this, right? So if they're doing a reconstruction, right, and those are the ballista machines up in the left-hand corner, right, and I think you've got two, haven't you? One's like a mangonel on the left, and the one on the right is a true ballista. Anyway, that aside, if you're looking at this as as it is, you're talking about maybe, I don't know, 200 people living in that one bit of it, and then the other bit is for storage, and all the rest of it for animals, right? So that's like 200 people. So say you had a load of people hemmed in here, right? They would need a lot of food, right? They would also need water to survive, right? And I got to be honest with you, my gut feeling is saying that this was a hell of a lot of effort for relatively a small area. This is not the size of Elise. This is not a huge site, right? Even though it looks, hang on, let's get an aerial view. Even though it looks big, right, it's not massive, right? And the two forts almost dwarf this thing, right? It's a lot of effort. It's a hell of a lot of effort to to do this. And maybe if you want to look in principle of another thing, if you look at Masada, what the Roman idea was at Masada, if we hem the whole thing in, right, and we starve the buggers out, that's exactly what they did, because the defenders at Masada ended up, most of them took
took their lives.
they took their lives. They jumped off. They killed themselves. I think lots of them took poison. So from my point of view, and this is what the Romans did at Elise, instead of losing valuable soldiers, they decided to starve them.
Yeah.
And at Elise it worked. At Masada it worked. There's two examples, folks. They did that at Masada and Elise. They built camps around these places. Maybe they did exactly the same with this locality. So they didn't need to lose those lives.
Yeah.
Think about it. I just want to chuck that in there. Maybe it was like because it you can imagine a Roman legator, a Roman general sat down thinking, right, my men are tired, right? The last thing we want to do is deal with these clowns, right? We need a bit of a break. We need to build a camp anyway, right? In a few weeks they'll be starving, right? And then we'll attack, right? And it'll be over in an hour, right?
Exactly.
That's what I feel.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. I don't know if that answered what Andy said, but let's crack on. Was that what Andy was talking about? Maybe, Andy, did I go off on one?
No, not what I was talking about, but a good point though.
Yeah. Oh no, Andy was on about the whistling bullets.
Yeah.
Right now, basically what I've got is I've got a short document, and obviously you're thinking about foxglove. So foxglove is in big doses, foxglove is going to kill you, right? But it slows down the heart, and it could be a little bit psychotropic as well. But I'm not going to explain all of these. I'm just going to basically, I've got a little bit of a list here, and it doesn't actually say what these are, but lots of these would be familiar. So foxglove might be a herbal cure in the Iron Age, and this is known as corn bellflower, right? Again, lots of these would be familiar, but there's another one. This is again self-heal. Now, in regards to foxglove, you're going to be the seeds themselves are the toxic things. You're going to be collecting the seeds. You're going to be grinding them up. Perfect, right? And so you're not in different stages. You're not just in some of these. You're going to use the flowers. In some of them, you're going to use the seeds. In some of them, you're going to use the roots. In some of them, you're going to use. So they've got different properties, and this is known as something called self-heal. So this is start again. So let me get my I got that wrong. So that's foxglove, corn bellflower. This is self-heal, and this is known as sharp dock. I've actually seen this, but I've not actually I've not known what it was at the time. And again, this is water pimpernel, right? I think this grows around marshy areas, and also this is known as river star tip, which is something that I've not really come across. Now, what I've decided, I think what I've decided on this next one is I've got a document online, and I thought that I would not cut and paste it. I thought I would go through it, which is this one. This is Stanwick Lakes. And it basically talks about a site that they've actually done some reconstruction work at. And it's got these types of things. So I'm going to read through this now. So this is actually from 2024. This is really relevant. So what they've done at this site, I think this is associated with the fort there. They've created, it's not giving me, they've created some gardens, and the garden at the Iron Age settlement is designed to complement the roundhouses, exploring how people would have lived in the Iron Age. Our volunteers have researched what plants were grown in the Iron Age and are now experimenting to see what will grow in this location. The soil, climate, and weather all have an impact on this location when they're trying to grow these things in association with the Iron Age, right? And obviously, it's about thinking of these plants in not just an edible form, but looking at these plants in a pharmaceutical form as well. So it's sort of, we are one of the things that I can remember when my OCD was really bad back in the past. What came on the market was something known as St. John's wort, right? And that's something that I used to take, right? I've not come across this one tansy, to be honest with you. But it's saying that some Iron Age plants such as catmint, foxglove, raspberry, and gooseberry are very familiar to our gardens today. Foxglove, I wouldn't really associate that with gardens. It's quite toxic. But they're sort of talking about other things that might actually be useful pharmaceutically, medicinally, such as something known as angelica, elfwort, and something known as carlin peas. While many plants are not available now, but what they're trying to do is experiment and to try to understand, where these things grew and if they would have been available in large numbers to Iron Age people. There's one thing that's missed in all of this, and I think this might be of interest to all of us. That there it is. It's showing angelica flower there, and it's showing catmint as well. And I do have a little bit of a list to go on to. When animals are ill, right? They and you've got lots of sort of herbs and lots of wild flowers around. Various animals will go into different parts of the area to eat flowers that might actually treat some of their ills. So it's not about medicinal properties just for human beings. It's also medicinal properties for animals as well. They're talking about this angelica, for example, the angelica flower, and this has a distinctive taste, and it's got a distinctive flavor, and it's got medicinal properties as well. What medicinal properties, I don't know, but as the list goes on, it's sort of thinking about maybe there's something missed in drinking beer, for example, made of barley beer. Lots of alcoholic drinks may have been to cure ills, as today we might actually drink whiskey, for example. And you might not know this, but there's talk in the Iron Age that black currant can actually be used. It has medicinal properties as well. Can you remember that hot black currant that our parents used to give us when we were children? Right, I remember it. And going to that, there's also that catmint, right? Catmint, the crushed leaves can deter insects like flies and mosquitoes and other bugs, and the water soluble compounds in that yes, it says catmint. The water soluble compounds in catmint leaves have potential antibacterial properties, and catmint tea was used to rinse and clean wounds. Yes, cleaning wounds.
Cats used to go for that. Mops.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
As in anytime.
As in catnip. Chicory as well. Chicory, more of a continental thing. Obviously, that's got powerful things in it. Obviously, comfrey. We're talking about medicinally as well, making herbal teas. There's a lot. This is, we talk about herbal teas today. And we just, herbal tea is going to cure different things, treat various different disorders. Comfrey, crabapple. Could there be values for crabapple, for example? And here's an interesting one. I've not got an image of it, but there's actually a really long one on this one. It's known as Ellie campaign. It's basically known as the elf dock, and this is a widespread plant. This elf dock or L camp, and the do you know what we could do, right? Is if I go on here, because that's the end of that. If we show, for example, elf dock, so we know what that looks like, elf dock, because this is from that article, elf dock. There it is, elf dock. There we go. The plant specific, the plant's specific name, is said to have been used by Helen of Troy. It was sacred to the ancient Celts and once had the name of elf wort. And the plant traditionally was held to be associated with the elves and the fairy folk. Elf dock is used to deal with it said it would warm a cold and windy stomach, to resist poison, to strengthen sight, and to clear internal blockages. It's something mentioned by Pliny as well, both as a medicine and as a condiment. And it's got great powers, this stuff, elf dock. And what else have we got? We've also got fennel. We've all heard of fennel, surely. So fennel, let's familiarize ourselves with fennel again. We're thinking of fennel. There's our fennel. There it is. We've got the fennel there. Fennel was prized by the ancient Greeks and Romans, who used it in medicine and insect repellent. Fennel tea, for example, was believed to give courage to warriors, for example. It is one of the 9 plants invoked in the pagan Anglo-Saxon 9 herbs charm. Fennel is very, very powerful. We've mentioned digitalis foxglove. It's what else have we got? Hang on a minute. Have we got any more? Let's see if we've got any more. Yeah. See if we can get any more. I think that's actually that's that on the list, to be honest with you. But that, I think that was enough to go on with. And there is a few more. Yeah. They're talking about gooseberry as well. Gooseberry being something that has some levels of medicinal, and also hawthorn berries and haws. We often hear a lot about that, and that can be very useful. So hopefully that's a little bit of an insight into some of the medicinal qualities of these plants and how they can help. And hopefully that's answered some of David's questions. So what we're going to do now, we're going to call that a day. I think we've done pretty well tonight. And then that should be it. Right. Okay, then. Okay, so who are we going to start off with? Let's do Anne and then David. So Anne, you first.
It's interesting, the herbs thing. I remember reading a while ago about a king, I think he was in Mesopotamia or somewhere, who started the first health service across, and he used to send herbs. He had herbs sent to different places for all the people, to keep his people healthy. I mean, you also hear of herbs with witches who got who cured people with it. But I thought that was interesting that this king thought these herbs were so important. He sent them around his country to keep his people well. I don't know where I read it.
Oh, come on, we need to know next week. I'm sure Dave would like to know which king that was. You know, when you think about that, you're thinking about gold, frankincense, and myrrh with Jesus, and you're thinking about, you know, that's a similar type of thing, isn't it? You know, so okay, thank you for that, Anne, and you make sure that that friend of yours, you read the stuff out to her again, and obviously we're looking forward to seeing your mate next week. Tell her that I've built her up, and we're expecting greatness from her.
She's a very nice lady. I'm sure she'll fit in well.
Brilliant. And hopefully Dreen will be back next week.
Well, I don't know about Dreen. I think Dreen is hiding for a bit because of her.
Bless her.
It's embarrassing to her.
Well, but she can't be like me with my nose. It looked a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
She could rather without having the picture
with this and just. I used to have jokes made and all this. You can imagine with the fellas. What's that?
You coped with that well, I think, but I don't know when the Gina could.
No, she didn't.
Anyway, you never know. She might be back next week. She might feel a lot better, or look a lot better, even so. She feels she can come out.
I should have her along.
She could come on without a camera.
Yeah.
Well, she could. Yeah, actually, she could do it without the camera because Judith does. Judith does.
Yeah, that might be what I'll mention that to her. I'm going to see her this week, so I'll mention.
Yeah, I think you should.
She doesn't have to switch the camera on, does she? No, that's true.
She doesn't have to switch the camera on. No, she could just. Well, if she had the technology, she could be black and white, and it would be fine. It'd be fine. Okay, then. Thank you for that, Anne. Anything you'd like to say, David? Go for it.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My pleasure, David.
Bye, David.
Look forward to seeing you next week. And don't forget, everybody, 7 o'clock next week. Right, Andy.
No, nothing to add. Thank you.
Right. Oh, and I do apologise for last week. I was really embarrassed with that. My my technology just went, and it was just like. Then when I came back on, I had signed myself out the sound thing. Nightmare. Right. Okay then, Margaret.
Is it true that aspirin originally came from willow bark?
Yes.
Oh, did it?
Right.
Yes.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought I'd heard that somewhere.
Yes, it did. It did. It did. It did. It did.
I wonder if they still use it.
Well, the thing is, we don't know. You know, it's just like these things didn't survive. But if you look at the Otzi the Iceman, the amount of evidence that we got off Otzi the Iceman really just, you know, he was prepared for everything. He's probably so prepared that it's probably led into his death, like having to carry all that for palaver, you know.
Well, I know my dog. If his tummy was a bit off, he'd search out a particular grass. It was a broad-leafed grass, not just any old grass, and it would make him sick.
Yeah, cat does the same.
Yeah. They just have this intuition, don't they?
Same with the cats.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Woo! Okay, Roger.
No.
All right, that's fair enough. So the only one we've got left is Fraggle Woman.
The Fraggle. I did read somewhere that Roman soldiers sometimes had fennel seeds in their pockets or their pouches or whatever it was that they foreign, whatever it was, and it helped them to march for longer without complaining about being hungry or tired.
Oh,
I used to chew them. Very nice.
Did you? Oh, right. Okay. Okay. And it's a bit like Lord of the Rings, isn't it? Elven bread. You would have a little elven loaf and they'd keep you going for months. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very strange. And there's like a kung fu movie, and there's like this Buddhist monk has got like these little things that they're munching on to keep them alive for a very long time. Anyway, that's been delightful. So, anyone want to say anything else before we call it a night?
no, that'll do. Thank you.
No, that'll do it, man.
Very good.
That'll do, lovely. Oh man,
An eclectic mix.
It's good to be eclectic, and
Yeah.
I'm glad we managed to do a few things tonight, so that's good. So if nobody wants to say anything else, next week we might have 10 people online, which would be great. If nobody else wants to say anything else, then I'm going to say goodnight to Anne, Andy, Margaret, Roger, and Judith. And if Judith wants a quick chat about Chepstow things, you can do at the end. But if not, I'll say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you next Tuesday, 7 o'clock on the dot.
Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you,
Enjoy your birthday.
Thank you, Rog.
You had a birthday last month.
Yes, I did, Roger, the 5th. Thank you very much.
Happy birthday to you for January.
Thank you, Rog. Thank you, Kathy.
I'll do some more Googling.
Oh, it's 59.
Googling. Right, Roger, Judith wants to stay with you when she comes down.
Judith? No, she'll be sorry.
Some more Googling about
I'm
some
going
bed and
but
breakfast.
Jill will kill me.
Oh.
She shut me up.
Hey, you could cuddle in bed with Judith.
Oh, there's plenty of bed and breakfasts and hotels around. I'll find something.
No,
actually, find the travel lodge nearby. That'd probably be best.
Yeah.
Mind you, it'd probably be full of immigrants, but that's something else.
That's the trouble, isn't it? It's finding somewhere that's got places. Okay, thank you anyway. See you next week.
Hey, look forward to seeing you, Judith, and at the do.
See you all. Yeah, cheers.
Bye.
Night, Judith. Night, Roger.
Night, all.
Night, Raj. Night, Judith. Anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. I didn't even check if there was anyone online. I got something wrong with my laptop at this minute, so I'm not. No messages that I can see on the chat at all. Oh, Dodgy Git, right. Thank you for joining us, Dodgy Git. It'll make all the girls sleep with them all. Tatty boys. Thank you, Dodgy Git. Hopefully see you tomorrow. And don't forget, Dodgy Git. If I got to see who gets the freebies at the end of the month, the Roman thing, with getting to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, which would be amazing. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe, everybody, and I really appreciate you joining us. And I'm just going to double check on the chat box. Nothing in the chat box there. Nothing in the chat box 2. Nothing in the chat box 3. Nothing in the chat box 4, 5. Nothing in the chat box 7, 8, 9. Nothing in chat box